Welcome to Newbubbles, the UK's premier education marketplace. This tutorial will show you how to sell products using your Newbubbles account so that you can make money. What you need to do is find Google, type the company's name Newbubbles. Newbubbles comes straight to the top of the Google search page, click on Newbubbles, and that takes you straight to the Newbubbles homepage. Like eBay, there will be a standard way of presenting products, and you can see some examples of that in the centre of the screen here. So if we're just looking at the home page, at the top of the page we've got two shortcuts, Buy Now and Sell Now. Each button takes you to a help page. There's also an Amazon style drop down menu, and this menu contains 7 different categories, includes things like books and DVDs and essays and presentations and music and audio, and as a seller you'll be able to use these categories. And if we wanted to, we could go to our services menu and find the Start Selling button. Again, this takes us to the seller's help page. So what we need to do now is log in, and login is at the top right hand corner of the homepage screen. So we're going to click on that now. We enter our email, our password automatically is inserted, and then we log in. Now this takes you to our welcome page, and as you can see there are 5 categories here. In the top left hand corner is my name, and in the right hand corner we have a line of functions to do with products which are sold or not sold. In the top right hand corner there is a filter, it's displaying 60 days, and that relates to your selling activity, so that's 60 days of selling activity of sold or not sold products. If you want a shorter duration of selling activity, use the drop down menu again and choose one of the other filters. And on the right hand side there is a members login panel. One of the most important functions here now for sellers is the My Selling button. So click on this button and it takes you to the My Selling page, and what you see there is 3 buttons which correspond to the statuses of your products, whether your products are live, whether they're pending approval by Newbubbles, or whether they're expired. On the right hand side is a panel telling you how many products are live, or that you have sold, or that you have unsold in the last 60 days. Now you must realise that when you add products to sell, it goes into an approvals table first, and when they are approved by Newbubbles they go into your approved listings table. So let's add a product or an auction. Takes us to the My Selling Add Auction page, and we have a number of fields here that you have to fill in. Now, exactly like eBay, we have a product name, so I'm going to put in a product called Psychology Essays. You can put a subtitle in here as well, so I'm going to say something about A-level essays, so I put that in that field. And what you also notice is that on the right hand side you have a language field, so I'm going to find English. There we are. Underneath that there are 2 options, for sale or forbid. If you click on forbid, you'll find that there are 2 further fields that drop down. One is minimum cost per bid, and the other one is the minimum price for success, i.e. your reserve price. But I'm going to actually offer this one for sale. The retail price is an option for you to put in what you think the product would sell on the high street, and there's a little information tag there that just came up just a moment ago to let you know what that means. In this example, I'm not going to use that. Underneath that there is a category, i.e. one of the 7 categories that we've already shown you on the home page. Is it a DVD, an essay for example? Notice other drop down menus appear when you select category. Use these if you wish. And underneath that again you have the level of qualification. For example, is it a secondary school? Is it for primary school? Is it for college? Is it for university, for example? And underneath that again you can write in your buy it now price, and you can choose the subject. To the right of that there is a postal drop down menu. If you want to charge postal price you can, and you can use that drop down menu to do that. You simply write in the price in the given field. I'm going to choose a postal price of £1. Below that we have a choice of whether the product's new or used. In this case it's used. In the short description you can add some more detail about your product, and that will appear on the main product selling page. I'm going to say something about essays being written between 2007 and 2012. There's also the option of adding a brand name, but I'm not going to use that. I'm now going to go down to the insertion date. That's the date at which the product starts selling. And there's a simple calendar system for you to be able to do that. And I'm going to now put in the 4th of July. The other drop-down menus here allow me to select the duration of the selling. It could be 7 days, it could be 14 days, it could be 28 days. And I'm also going to put in an estimated delivery time for the product to be sent out to the buyer. You'll find that what pops up is the cost of your insertion fee, so that comes up in bold. And I'm putting one in quantity. I've only got one item to sell. And so lower down here you get the opportunity now of developing quite a detailed description of your product. You're presented with a text editor, very similar to Microsoft Word. You've got various ways of stylizing the text, bold and underline in italics for example, and the ability to insert pictures and colour your text. So I'm going to give this description something of a title. There we go, so again 65% A-level psychology essays. I want to change the size of that, it's a bit too small, and I want to put it into Verdana font. So we'll start with the Verdana font, there we go, then size 14. And what I'm going to do now is just add to that description something about the contents of the product, psychodynamic theory for example, and perhaps we'll add something on animal psychology. Now when you're happy with your description, what you need to do is move to the final section and you need to add an image, or several images if that's what you want. Find an image on your computer, select it, and then add it to the product. But make sure it's not a bitmap image and you've got a red instruction there just to remind you. There we are, got one. You can also add tags to your product, and you can write them in this field here. I'm going to add psychology, essays and A-level. Click the checkbox, which means you agree with the Newbubbles user agreement. Click the link if you want to read it first. Then click Save. This takes you back to your My Selling page. In bold it tells you that your product is awaiting approval from Newbubbles. And as we go across the table you have your product ID, you have the name of your product and it's hyperlinked to the actual product page. You have your price, your minimum cost, which is actually 0 because it's not an auction this time round. You have your expiry date, your status symbol which is amber, your wish list, and the fact that there's an image attached. Newbubbles aims to approve products within 24 hours, and when that occurs the product moves from your listings awaiting approval down to your approved listings. And as you can see, the details of your product are now set out. 2 new links have been added to the table, a view link which takes you to the product display page. The product display page has all the features that you have already inserted in the database you completed just a moment ago. Notice that a seller rating is now added to the top of that display, and that will measure your success as a seller. As you can see, your display is very similar to eBay and so therefore incredibly easy to navigate. Monitor your account on a regular basis and you will find that you can actually start selling a lot of materials and making a lot of money. More tutorials on selling and feedback can be found at our website on www.newbubbles.com.